I believe that Onyeme is in his own way telling Nigerians that education is important. Yes, welcome to Noble TV Live, and I have a special guest in the house, and of course you know him already. By the time I shall be introducing him, you will say yes, it's a familiar face. And we're talking about philanthropy and the man, or one of the people that are actually drive this area of human endeavor, trying to make life simpler than they met it by encouraging others to live. Of course, with examples to follow, showing that at least something I enjoyed when I was growing up, I want also other persons to enjoy it. And how do I do it? I want to make my sources available to them. I want to give them encouragement, words of encouragement, and also show the way in the process of ensuring that things work in Nigeria, particularly through education. I'm talking of the philanthropy as exhibited by Sir Onyeme recently, where the man actually handed out some envelopes containing checks for indigent students in the Ndokwa Axis in Delta State, Nigeria, for them to further or continue their education. Now, these have been applauded as a welcome development. So we're looking at this issue and what other persons should do along this line. And with me to actually do that is Mr. Gray Admona.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome to the program.
Privilege.
Yes. You are very familiar with Sir Onyeme.
Of course.
Yes, he's the Deputy Governor of Delta State. But there are some things that he started very many years ago.
Yes.
And the man has not let go. He's still following up.
Yes.
And recently we just come to a point where we heard that the man has actually empowered about 390 students of Ndokwa Expression.
Through his foundation.
Yes, through his foundation,
Yes.
Sir Onyeme Foundation.
Yes.
Now, looking at what Onyeme has done, you know, and maybe you want to say one or two things, either to discourage him or to encourage others to emulate him.
Yes.
So, what's your take?
Yes, the first instinct is never to discourage him, but to encourage him.
Okay.
To applaud him so that he will be encouraged.
Okay.
It's interesting, but actually, it's not the only one in that boat. Fidelis Okemotidije did a similar thing when he was a managing director of Fortune Bank. He had a foundation where many people benefited. You know, Dr. Onyeme, many of blessed memory, was a coordinator, and it was a wonderful job. So, just look at the coincidence. Two of them are in government.
Okay.
So it's a wonderful thing. Sir Onyeme comes across as not just a generous person, you know, a consummate humanist who believes, you know, in helping people. Yeah, that neighborly feeling, that neighborly, you know, passion is you know, intrinsic to his personal expression. And the uniqueness of this foundation is that it goes the whole hog into Kokwani Federal Constituency, university, you know, down to the university level of education. Yeah. And so the beneficiaries, you know, they span different layers of you know, traditional Ndokwa, you know, communal life, so that especially this gesture will be most felt now that the economy is under stress. So that, because who feels it more is the parent. He who wears the shoe knows how and where it does pinch. Yeah. So this period is a very trying one for society, because the main constituent unit of society is the family, and the family is under severe economic stress because of you know, economic policies foisted on the country by malfunctional leadership. So it is a welcome development, and it's an opportunity to let people know that right now some gestures of this nature will not only help to boost social institutions, it will also help to, you know, to carry out institution building. The institution of education is about to be rebuilt, you know, to reflect horizons never, you know, trodden before. So I think it's a welcome development. And interestingly, it's a professional accountant. It's not just his area, his discipline that the scholarship award, you know, does find expression. Everything across board. Yeah. Humanities.
So long as the people are indigent.
Exactly. Okay. The idea is to boost the learning and enlightenment process and not allow economic travails, you know, upset, you know, the problem.
Okay. Now, one of the striking things that actually happened during that occasion of presentation of the envelopes or the checks was the fact that a woman who was actually coming for the program, actually to participate in the process, was actually rushed to the hospital where she actually put to bed a baby. And Onyeme did not say, okay, that is enough, you didn't come. The woman automatically benefited without being interviewed. And some cash award was also given to her, you know, because of what happened. And all of this came from Monday Onyeme.
Yes.
Now, the question I want to ask you is during the period, Onyeme made one striking statement. He said that is in admonishing the students now, the beneficiaries. He said they should be serious with their academic work, because education remains the bedrock of the development of the society. Now, the statement he has just made now, how do you now compare it to what happens in our society, where education no longer appears to be the bedrock of the development of society, but it's just a certificate to just get a job without really. When I say education, you know, education does not really, you know, just people go to school to get certificate and get work, and that ends it. How you know education for the development of the society and education for getting a job in the ministry? How do you?
Education will continue to, you know, remain the bedrock of development and change, particularly as it affects social institutions, right from the family level. So the composite feature of society, the opinion that is just for certification, that connects with the problem that we are going through now, in which youths are disorientated, and so they do not place a premium on education, but simply as a way out of a problem. And that also explains why the hoax, the wrong theory that education is a scam, that theory itself is highly fraudulent, morally fraudulent, sociologically fraudulent, and challengeable. Education cannot be a scam. It is not simply to acquire certificates in order to enter banking system, the banking system, the oil economy, and all that. It is for your self-affirmation. Education will always be a panacea to problems relating to self-affirmation. So gestures coming from no less than an institutional authority like Onyeme are consistent with that that development, and it will continue to hit the consciousness of contemporary society, because contemporary society is in a flux. There's a transition from normalcy to abnormalcy, or abnormality to abnormality. So the trajectory needs to be rationalized, straightened out, so that we actually follow the right path. There's no way you will trivialize education simply because it does not immediately fetch you jobs in the short term, and then you now pursue other antisocial options that like cybercrime and all such banditry and the rest of them. They can never keep in competitively speaking on the same scale. They cannot rank on the same scale with actual institution-based effort to acquire education.
Okay, now finally, many Nigerians are working on wrong impressions now, as you just rightly said. Now, some persons are saying education is a scam and all that. Now, because I believe that Onyeme is in his own way telling Nigerians that education is important. But beyond that, who in Nigeria or which organization in Nigeria is supposed to be educating us beyond our university classrooms, that education has a very good, it presents to us opportunities to actually grow our economy? Who should be educating us? Or are we educated enough to recognize this?
In experiential sociology, you have what is called primary groups, reference groups. They are important institutional educators. The primary groups is the family and extended family. The reference groups are, the church, the institutions, clubs that are supposed to disseminate the values and the aesthetic bedrock of society that is supposed to propel change. Now, you cannot rule out agencies like National Orientation Agency to disseminate information on the importance of education. You cannot rule out the Ministry of Information. Ministry of Information should not allow its vision be soaked up in bureaucratic pursuits. That at the end of the day, that kind of conceptual dead end. They should focus on developing the mind in conjunction with the National Orientation Agency. These are some of the things that were also good about the Babangida dictatorship, even though he made a fatal mistake by bringing SAP. Babangida introduced MANSA, which then was headed by Dr. Oko, I think a Ghanaian, I forgot his surname. Yes. Iku rather, Shekiri, but Ghanaian. So the educators remain the institutions, and something like this should complement what people like Sir Onyeme are doing. He personally examined some of the papers of the people that qualify for the for award, and he marked them as an accountant, English and mathematics. Very interesting.
Yes, you have heard it all from Mr. Gray Almona. Yes, what Onyeme has done is an eye-opener to many people who probably didn't know that they can, help in their own little ways to ensure that we have a sanitized economy or society through education. And by doing so, he has also made himself or used himself as an example of somebody who knows, somebody who has gone to school and exhibited that trait of having gone to school when he actually participated in marking the scripts of people who were vying for the positions. So while we are saying kudos to Sir Onyeme, we are saying also for those of us in this society who have one thing or the other to offer to the youth, to the vulnerable, and to the indigent people in the society, particularly in this time period, please, we say, do that, because one by one, all of us shall be getting out of this economic doldrum that we have actually found ourselves. So on this note, I want to say goodbye. But before you say goodbye to me, just stop to watch. Click the notification button as you also share and your comment, because a lot of persons will also want to hear your own view. So thank you for always being with us. This is Noble TV Live, and my name is Augustine Onyeme.